What's up, everyone? We back with another edition of Black Coffee and Conversation. CT Minimum along with
Rico Moore.
Yes, sir. And we're here at Taylor Books here in downtown Charleston, a little bookstore here. So, what's on your mind for this week?
For me, it's the NFL and the owners of the Texans. The owner of the Texans,
Bob McNair.
Yeah, saying we don't want the inmates running the jail, the prison.
Mm-hmm. They normally say asylum.
Yeah, the asylum usually, but he particularly referred to them as inmates in a prison, and in a sport that is most of the players anyway are predominantly black. Mm-hmm. It doesn't translate very well given the number of African Americans, black people that are incarcerated,
especially black males.
Mm-hmm. And the fact that what they're protesting is the way we're being treated by, in this case, the police officers.
Yeah.
I mean, that in and of itself, whether he meant to do it intentionally or not, that in and of itself just gives you an insight onto the mindset of most of these people of power, especially as it refers to the black male.
Yeah.
They see us as workers, inmates, if not prisoners, potential prisoners, and free labor down the line. And those players get paid well.
Yeah.
However, they
really have freedom.
No, they don't have it. There have always been well-paid black athletes, even slaves. If you go all the way back to, I think it was horse racing. Mm-hmm. And it's mentioned a lot in
that book, $40 Million Slave.
$40 Million Slave. And it talks about
one of my favorite books.
You can make the money, but it doesn't make you free. And that's why one of the reasons I always try to preach and get people around here to participate in the process. The money will help you out, make you feel better about situations because you don't think about it as much because you buy a lot of toys. But bottom line is they still, the system itself still going to tell you what to do unless you participate and you try to manipulate it and massage it a bit so that it is a lot more friendly and takes us into a lot more consideration when decisions are made.
Yeah. When I heard that, first thing I thought about was Donald Sterling, back 3 or 4 years ago. And, not 3 or 4 years ago, it was longer than that. But whenever his little mistress outed him with the recordings, the former owner of the Los Angeles Clippers. And I said at the time, people were shocked. I said, nah, he's not the only one that thinks like that. He's the only one that got caught.
Yeah, I mean, that's just what it is.
And so, while these players are shocked, I seen the wide receiver for the Houston Texans, Bernard Hopkins. He walked out of practice. I don't know if he's playing tomorrow or not.
I don't think it's Bernard. That's the boxer. I know you're a big boxing fan, man. You going back on it.
All right, Bernard Hopkins.
Yeah, but it is Hopkins. Yeah.
And then I read a tweet, prior to filming this, and from the reporter Josina Anderson for ESPN. She said, "Yeah, we're about to have a meeting. Texas about to have a meeting with the players, and no phones are allowed inside the meeting." And so they probably basically about to tell those guys get in line or face the consequences. But wouldn't it be something if this week all the players league-wide said, "Yeah, we're just gonna take this week off"? Talking about all the black players now, you can trot out there Tom Brady all you want to. Who's you gonna throw the ball to? Danny Amendola. That's about it. Ain't gonna no running backs. The league is 70% black, but here's the problem. Just because you said percent participant, that don't mean you have power.
I mean, it's the same thing with the political system or just, life in general. Let's just say Charleston, which is, once again, I keep saying it, it's about 15% black. Let's just say if all of them decide to take a day off from work at the same time. Just walk away.
I don't think that.
Just think about all the people that work for the state, for the Capitol. Just take a day off. Same day, same time. Wow. It slow a lot of things down.
Yeah, but the thing is,
and in the NFL, it would stop things.
Oh, it'd be a wrap. They'd be all type of niggas after that. But I mean, but that's the truth. But the thing is, with the NFL, is you've went this long. They get paid all this money, and like I said, you have no ownership. And so we've all seen the.
Hey, how you doing, Mark? Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry.
No
that's all
problem.
right.
No, we-
Doing a little interview.
yeah, we got a little show going.
Yeah,
Sorry.
That's no problem, sir. But you see the documentary Broke, 30 for 30.
yeah.
You know, and after a couple of years, you know, those guys go broke.
Right.
So, you know, they all, you know, ain't nothing wrong with little trinkets here and there. We all like to have nice things, but at the same time, you know, you need to make smart investments. So, you got 70%, you know, black league. You know, even if that 70%, 10% couldn't come together to form buy their own team, but then again, it takes a lot of money to buy a team. You got to have a couple billion.
But well, it goes further because even if you have the money, they still have to allow you
Well, that
into the
too.
league.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
They wouldn't even let 45 buy a team because the owners have to approve it. So it goes back to what I'm saying. You just, you know, that $40 million slave, you know, you had that book, you read it here recently, I read it, you know, some years ago. I don't think you got to the point where, we got in a later chapter, basically.
I read the whole book.
You read the whole book?
Yeah.
And basically, you know, even though you got the money, you can't really speak out against anything. They said about Michael Jordan, you read that part?
Yeah.
They said, yeah, he was something happened down in North Carolina, I think during like the 90s, on the UNC campus. Some type of
Oh yeah, yeah. They put together a student union, black student union.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted it named after a teacher on the campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
they was asking Michael Jordan for his input. He's like, nah, I'm not really want to get associated with that.
Well, then again, you have to look at, you know, there are athletes who stand up for what they believe in, and there will be consequences, but you just have to be willing to accept them. You know, example, Cassius Clay,
Yeah.
Muhammad Ali, same person, you know. Bill Russell. You know, these are people who stood up for what they believed in. You know,
Yeah.
those are the type of people who I think we need to hold out there as examples
Yeah.
to the youth.
You know, you have people, you know, like Colin Kaepernick, but he got blackballed.
Remember, Muhammad Ali went to jail.
Yeah. Yeah, he was out of box for what, 3 years?
Yeah, I
4
think it
years?
was 3.
And here's the thing. You know, I think Colin Kaepernick go down in history. He'll be remembered more than the current players right now, in my opinion, for the movement he's making. Maybe, maybe not. I think he will be.
Kurt Flood, who opened up the free agency.
Free agency, but people don't really remember his name.
Yeah.
But
And he was a great center fielder. Jackie Robinson even spoke to how great he was and testified on his behalf.
Yeah.
But once he did that, he was basically
It was a wrap.
gone. There was
'Cause
no
he's a-
position for him in baseball.
yeah, but he made it possible for free agency in all sports today.
Right.
You know, and sometimes it just takes one person to make that sacrifice. But, you know, can we, you know, place that burden on everybody?
I mean, I don't think the sacrifice would be as big nor as harsh if it was more than one or two people. If everybody did it in concert, that's the strength of it. If everybody did it in concert, you know, that's hard to come down on the whole group when the whole group's gonna stick together.
So let's kind of reel that back into, you know, here in Charleston or West Virginia. What do we need to do, you know, as a unit right now? What's the first step you think we should make?
First step. First step, they all need to put aside their petty differences, and you know, the ones that are getting a few, you know, little pennies from the administration. Take a look at the fact that, you know, you're getting a few pennies, but you still don't really have a seat at the table. And get with everybody else who's trying to affect change and say, okay, well, I may not wholeheartedly agree with the way you're going about it, or what you have to say, but I do agree with the purpose and what I believe
The end goal.
the end goal, the true goal. And if they all have a true understanding and and they agree on what the goal should be, then they need to set aside their little differences and shoot for the big picture, which is everybody getting to that same goal. Now, once you get to that same goal and come together as a cohesive force, and you get some people in some positions where you can make a change, then you can say, okay, well, we need this and this and this and this as well. And you do the best you can to get those. But you got to understand that sometimes you got to give up your position for the betterment of the entire group's position, you know.
My thing is, you know, you said to set aside our differences for the, you know, but I think too many of us have too many different ideas of what the, you know, the end goal should be. You know, some people, you know, might say, well, we need to get economic empowerment. Some people say political. Some people just say, well, we just want them to, you know, stop it, you know, police brutality. Or there's, I think if you ask every black person, even in the United States, you know, what's the number one agenda, you'll get 40 million different opinions.
Right. You may get a lot of different opinions, true indeed, but you will get, I think, if you take a look at them all and drill down through all the BS, you'll get to, I think, a general consensus of more than likely, in my opinion, we need to be thought about, we need to make some decisions when the decisions are made. If you're making the decisions when decisions are made, I think you eliminate, maybe not all, because you can't, because there are people involved and everybody has their own, you know, way of doing things and seeing stuff. But you eliminate a lot of the problems of not being involved in the decision making. Because you thought about, you know, Jaheim over here, you know, in the way that he's going to be approached by a police officer. When you made this decision of how to maybe, you know, discipline an officer who goes out of bounds. So, and you thought about that when you said, well, you know, what type of person do we need as an officer? And you thought about, well, maybe this guy doesn't fit because he has some views or his, you know, he has some views based on either his upbringing or some things that happened to him that he sees certain people a certain way, and those aren't the people we want. So you can, if you make the decision, you know, proactively, you know, thinking forward, then it would help alleviate a lot of those, you know, the problems that we have now.
You know, one issue, I agree with that. One issue I think we have, I think you alluded to this earlier, is if something, you know, if there's a major accomplishment or something's achieved, you know, this group or this particular person wants all the accolades.
Right.
Or all the credit.
Right.
You know, we said it in the previous episode, you know, ego starts to get involved. And to me, that kind of gets in the way of progress because, well, I'm not going to assist this person in their endeavor because I'm not going to get any credit for it. I'm not going to help with this because, you know, I'm not really getting no credit for it. That's how, not to say that that's everyone, but I do see that.
I see it a lot too.
And that's a major problem. We have to, you know, I think that's one thing outside of squashing the petty differences. We need to, you know, get over this idea of we always have to receive credit for every little thing that is done. Instead of, you know, bigging up this next person or this next organization, you know, well, I wasn't involved, so I'm not going to go.
You need some self-confidence.
Yeah.
You know,
that starts with self, though.
It starts with self. You need some self-confidence. That person needs some self-confidence, and you know, his ego is out of control because it sounds like to me he's got a lot of self-doubt. And if what you're doing truly for the benefit of making some things right, then it shouldn't be about you to begin with. And if you let your ego get in the way, then yeah, it's an issue, and the rest of the people involved that are trying to help you or whatever need to be able to pull you to the side and check you. You're like, listen, man, hold on. This is not about you. This is about X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And if you can't take it, then those people need to remove you from being in the forefront. Mm-hmm. Period.
Yeah, I agree. You know, like you said, it's self-confidence or self-esteem issues. That's nobody else can help you cure that besides yourself. You have to seek help yourself. And a lot of people.
Some people can't see it, so maybe, but you got to be. If you can open your eyes, somebody can open your eyes, you'd be willing to listen to somebody.
Yeah. I mean, And I think we all have things that we could work on.
Right.
And we have to be
Cognizant,
above, the criticism, and
we are in a public place, so we can't say
I'm
anything.
not tripping about it. I'm just gonna let them scoot along. But what was I about to say? Oh yeah, sometimes we may need a little kick in the butt to go in the right direction, and sometimes when you get that constructive criticism, don't take it too hard. And I think I think we will accomplish great things, but we just have to try to seek that first victory.
Yeah, and
And each victory fuels the next victory.
And as far as the economic portion of it, yeah, okay, there are going to be times when somebody makes more money than you, but you got to look at also what they brought to the table and what they put into it, and don't judge it on that. Judge it on where you're coming from. If you went from $0 to $20, and he went from $20 to $150. Okay, great. I mean, he was already, had a little bigger jump before you. Mm-hmm. Or if he's bringing, he's a great graphic designer, all right? And he knows a lot about computers, and you freehand draw. Okay, he may get a little more money from you because he's got a little more skills than you.
Yep.
But that doesn't make him worth more than you. I mean, it just depends on the setting, what you're bringing to the table. If you're building a house, okay, he's a plumber. We need him. Mm-hmm. You, over here, you're a cartoonist. We don't need you. So you're just on this time. So on this job right here, you're just a laborer. You're not gonna get as much money. You're just helping out. So just take it, with a grain of salt. You still have a job. The next time, maybe when you're doing a book as a cartoonist, you bring him along just to deliver the books. Because he doesn't have a job at the moment. As a plumber, he doesn't have a job, so just hey man, go deliver these books for me, and he makes some money. He's gonna make a lot less than you this time. So
everybody has a role to play.
Around,
reciprocates.
Yeah.
And it goes back into what I wanted to kind of talk about is following your passion. I was having a conversation with somebody here last week. I'm under the mindset that if you follow your passion, the money will follow. This person like, no, you just gotta chase the money first and worry about the passion after you get your money. I'm like, well, so you want to be miserable, basically. Money is important, but so basically we have people just chasing dollars.
So money makes you happy. Money's the only thing that makes you happy then.
What's that?
Money would be the only thing that would make somebody happy.
No,
then.
money, I guess, for survival.
Well, I mean, if you got to chase the money, then money would be the only thing that can make you happy, right?
No,
so what happens?
From what I got from them, that's not the goal of chasing the money.
What's the goal?
The goal of it is survival. For paying paying your bills, stuff
Don't
like
create
that.
them. Don't create a lot of. I mean, I'm with you. Chase your. I mean, I'm in the industry in a field where you can make a lot of money over here doing civil law. I don't like civil law. I can do it. Mm-hmm. I can try a case.
Yeah.
But I don't like the preliminary stuff. I can't stand it. And I value people more than I do money. So, I put my soul, my hard work more into defending people than I would money. And I realize this. So, I'll send that out to somebody else, the civil part of it. So even when I do a civil case, I have to find a connection between what happened and the person for me to, really have a real, deep feeling about, about that type case. Mm-hmm. Whereas somebody going to jail for, 30 years for selling drugs, to me it's just wrong. Yeah, because you don't go after these damn people that sell cigarettes and they know they gives everybody cancer or alcohol, and they're like, well, it's different because it's legal. Man, that's because somebody sat there and said, well, we're gonna make it legal to sell alcohol, but illegal to sell drugs. That doesn't make it right, because guess what? They don't want, most of the time, they pump the drugs into the community, and alcohol has destroyed more people than any drug you can think of. Mm-hmm. If you don't believe me, go find you an American Indian and ask him about alcohol.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. Your passion.
Yeah.
Because if you're passionate about it, you're gonna work hard at it. You're gonna be better at it.
And you're going to want to polish your craft.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to, dread waking up. You're actually going to be enthused to stay up to 2 or 3 in the morning to work on it. And you're going to be excited to get up at 7 a.m. to get right back on it.
Yep.
You know, people, people be on Facebook, oh, it's Monday, I have to get to work, and I'll complain this, that, and the third.
But when you love what you do, it's never work.
Yeah. But here's the problem. I kind of find myself, I'll say it's not necessarily a problem, but this is kind of the obstruction of it. To pay your bills, you may have to work a job that you don't want to do, but at the same time, in my free time, I'm kind of work on my passion, build a business off of that.
True.
Just like I like to do videography and photography. For the last 4 days. That last 5 days, I've done some type of video or photos.
And me, I love photography, and I like to build and houses, whatever. I like to design, but I just haven't had the time to do what I like to do. But what I generally find myself doing is I like to weed out and taper off my cases about October, and do what I want to do, travel, do some photography. I like to build, design, the houses and the interiors and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I try to do that. And hopefully if I've got enough money, some stuff put back, some stuff paid for, I can kick back and just work on what I have and don't take anything new until about March, between March and April, before I start really taking in new cases. It's just something I really want to do. Because you have to take a mental break for me, for some of the stuff that I'm into, the stressful part of the court part. But that is what I do. I do love it. I love photography and the building aspect, the art part.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question. What would you suggest for somebody, or what would be the first step for somebody to, in pursuit of their passion? Obviously we got, their daily schedule, or somebody who hasn't yet found their passion. What kind of exercises or things should they do in search of a passion? Because I'm under the mindset, if a majority of us could find our passion and we could build off of that, we'd be fine. You always gonna have racism, white supremacy, but if we could find our passion, learn how to contribute that to the greater community, I think we start, ironing out some of these issues that we have.
I think it starts at home with the parents and the kids. Like if you got a kid and he loves to draw, find a way to gear him towards drawing. Encourage him to continue to do that. He likes to play with Legos. Start trying to find camps and different places to send him to, like for engineering and stuff like that, and turn him on to. If he's a black kid, try to find black architects to turn him on to. I create games that challenge him, like how many, can you name 10 black architects? Stuff like that that would encourage him to let him know that he can do this as well. Yeah. Because that's a big part of the component in our community is a lot of us, at least, here in West Virginia, other states is different because there are, more people doing more things. But, so they can see that what they like to do, there's a lane for them.
Mm-hmm. Back to what we said in the previous episode, models of possibility.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to start highlighting some of those because I'm under the impression if we highlight the models of possibility, it will, spark an interest, or not necessarily spark an interest, but show those who like, all right, this is possible. I can attain this.
Right.
And that'll give them encouragement to seek out, the proper training, maybe mentorship, or some type of apprenticeship of some sort. And I also give them a guide to how somebody became successful, kind of like a guideline, path to go along.
With that in mind, I have a friend. His name is Adonis Smith. He's a contractor here in Charleston. I met him in college. We were playing ball. He played ball with Virginia State. He came here from the Virgin Islands. Mm-hmm. And he told me when he graduated from high school, he came out as an electrician. So he got his high school diploma along with his electrician's license. And while he was at school, he would leave sometimes. We'd be playing ball, and he'd go upgrade somebody's electricity for extra money while he's in college. Now he's a full-blown builder. He builds houses and so forth.
Contract.
He's full-blown, complete contractor. Does it from the ground up. But he already had that head start. And he likes to do what he does. So he comes from a different way of looking at life because he's from the island.
So he done built a career off his passion.
Yep.
And I think that's what we got to start doing.
But not just a passion, but it also gave him, so he played ball, right? He's only 6'3", 6'4", but he played, inside. That's obviously in today's age, wasn't big enough to go to the NBA.
Exactly.
It paid for college for him, but the practical application was he was an electrician. So maybe if his passion was basketball, he didn't quite make it, but he still was able to, have that backup of, I like doing this as well. So he has the practicality.
Plan A, Plan B. If Plan A don't work, revert to Plan B?
I can't even really call it that. Let's just say it was a fail-safe that was built into his education. Okay. It's like going to work with your dad laying block, even though you want to try to play pro football. You don't even realize the whole time you're going to work with your dad laying block, you're learning how to lay block. So even if you don't get to play pro football, you can get you a job laying block. And you know how to do it, and you enjoy doing it all the way with your dad, so you built something.
And I think, use that example, they don't have those programs in high school like they used to.
I came out a long time ago, so.
I went to Capital High School, and I know you could have went to Garnet. I know some guys who went to Garnet. I think it's Garnet. That's the one that ran.
Yeah, I think
Garnet.
so.
Yeah, and I just know a few, and I felt like they kind of. It's just my opinion. I don't know if it's true or not. They kind of gave that option to the guys who they thought weren't going to amount to weren't college, quote unquote, college material. But when I look back at it, I would have held off going to college initially, and would have right out of high school would have got 2 or 3 trades. To me, because like they said, that's a fail-safe because at the end they said you're always going to need an electrician, always going to need a plumber, they're always going to be building houses.
Or hell, you might need to work on your own house.
That too. And so I feel like we need to stop just pushing everybody. Yeah, you got to go to college. You got to go to college, and start giving them practical, I guess, options instead of just saying, all right, go to college to go learn philosophy. Well, shit, you can just read books.
Yeah, these days you can go to the internet.
Yeah, I got a communications degree. I learned more working at the news station than the 4 years, but I guess it's an experience in college. But I got hands-on, actual real-world experience working at the news station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
And I think,
because to be honest, being a lawyer, you don't know shit when you come out of law school. It's like reading a book on swimming. You don't know anything until you hit the water.
Yeah. Gotta get your feet wet.
Might be sharks in the water, piranha. Water might be too deep, or you just might panic because the water's cold. Who knows? But you never know until you really get out there and do it.
Yeah, I think. Let me ask you a question. In regards to this passion, why is it that you think more people aren't following their passion? Because I talk to a lot of people.
Because most society tells them that success in life is geared towards money. That's it.
Whoever has the money makes the rules. Right? No?
No.
So who makes the rules?
The person that's in the position of power. Power will bring you money. Money will not always bring you power. It will bring you some power, but I'm talking about when you sit in a courthouse, that elected judge makes a decision on what goes on in that courtroom. Guess what? There are lawyers that make way more money than him, but they don't have the power to overrule what he just said. But if you're sitting in that same courtroom and that elected judge is looking at you and knows that you bring 5,000 votes with you, makes a difference in the way he sees things and sees you. He doesn't just see you now, he sees you and the 5,000 behind you. So he sees you as 5,001. Even if you're dead broke. I mean, to me, money is great to have. It helps us out. It's really a tool. But it's the illusion of this tool of being the, the end all be all of whatever issues that you have. That gets us into a lot of trouble. And when you get to the point where, you believe money is the end all be all of all your troubles, then you got an issue, because that means you can be bought and sold. Because you don't have the most money. They do. So that means you can be bought and sold. But when you're strong enough to say, no, the end all be all is what I believe in, that's a problem for them. Yeah. That there are a lot of people that are going to disagree with that, but it's just what I see.
I think, money is a tool, and it goes on how do you use it. Black people, we have, over $1 trillion in quote-unquote spending power. But to me, there's no power in consumption.
And we still get shot, and the police officer walks away with not guilties.
Yeah. To me, there's no power in consumption to me.
No.
To me, that means that you're just a useless eater. If all you can do is consume but you can't produce.
All you can do is bake 1,000,000 cakes and eat them all yourself. You ain't sold a single one.
Thing is, you can't even bake it though. That's the
True
problem.
indeed.
You have to buy the cake. You can't even get the, you can't even get the cake mix. You don't even know how to, or you can get the cake mix, you don't have the oven.
Or you can't buy the eggs, so the egg, you don't even have the chickens to go get your own eggs.
Yeah. I think that's the problem we have. They say we have $1 trillion spending power. If we saw ourselves as a nation, we'd be the 9th richest nation. No, we spend, the most.
We spend the 9th most amount of money. That'll make us.
That'll mean we're the wealthiest, because we only account for 2% of the wealth here in the United States.
I think it was Chris Rock. What did he say one time? He's like, I know some white people wouldn't trade places with me, and I'm rich.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
So he don't want to be rich like Oprah and wealthy. He said we need money like wealthy, like the dude who invented the color blue. Yeah. He goes, Chris Rock, and that's that money that goes on and on. But even more than that, look at the Kennedys. It's the power that goes from generation to generation.
That we got killed though.
Okay, but the power is still there in his name. The Kennedys. Period.
Yeah. And I think if we start, like you say, trying to put ourselves in power positions,
along with the economic plan,
it all goes hand in hand. But if you just, your main goal is to be able to catch a football to make, $15 million a year, and you want to be like Des Brown, well, I can't, I don't want to protest because I got a family to feed. Well, that's going to be your only support base. So what if all your money run out? You can't then turn back to the community.
What if you break your knee?
Well, I mean that too, but if his philosophy was, I only got my family to take care of, but if your money runs dry, then you're going to rely on the community to lift you back up? That's not going to work. They're going to be like, well, shoot, when it was time for you to put in work, you said you only had your family to take care of.
What do they tell him? Well, it's time for you to bend over, or if you want the rest of your money, so you can take care of your family.
Sure, some gonna bust it open. Unfortunately, we see it happen all the time.
But I rather live on my feet.
Yeah, but
period. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees.
Yeah. But some people don't have that, personality. Some people, are not willing to sacrifice. Because I'm under the mentality is the work, we doing now. I don't think we're going to see the fruits of the labor unless we live to be 90-some years old.
But you still have to invest.
But history tells us that. or shows us that the work you put in now, it may be for your grandchildren, maybe for your great grandchildren.
Okay.
You know, but do people have that? I think we suffer from. I want to see immediate gratification, and to me, that's one of the major roadblocks and why we're not really succeeding as we should be. But that's just my opinion. That's not fact. That's just an opinion of mine.
But that's your opinion. That's what we're here for. We're here to give views, specifically, around Charleston and West Virginia, from a black perspective that we don't get anywhere else in this state. Mm-hmm. And especially not from black people that still live and deal with the black community, especially not here in Charleston. And I think that's why we started doing this, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think I believe we just need to be patient, but also persistent. It's not going to be overnight success.
No.
And I think if we have a true agenda and get enough people on board, I think we're going to change some things.
Be willing to, yeah. You got to stick to what we believe in. Keep working at it. Keep plugging.
Yes, sir. So I don't know. You got anything else you think we need to add for this episode, or what's your final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Well, the prisoner's running the penitentiary as the owner of the Texans called those men that work for him, that are on his team, the players, is just the way we need to think about that when we see the decisions that are made that affect us in such a negative light. It's not just in the aspect of sports, but in the aspect of politics and life. A lot of times that's the way they see us. We're just prisoners, running on a treadmill, doing stuff for them the way that they want it done. So they don't really take us into consideration, as people when they make these decisions. So therefore we need to once again put ourselves in the positions to make the decisions so we can be considered when the decisions are made.
Yeah. I think, my final thought would be on the passion. Sometimes you might have to go against the popular opinion on certain things, and you might have to go against the grain to kind of shake things up a bit, and sometimes, being different is the path to success. Because if you just the same old cookie cutter like everybody else, you're not going to stand out.
Right.
And so I think in pursuit of your passion, find a way how you're going to stand out, and be, I guess, an innovator, but also, what's the word I'm looking for? Can't think of it, but you're an innovator, but also you're going to ignite a new movement.
Motivator.
A motivator in your passion. So I guess that's my final thoughts.